What if the monsters that haunted our ancestors were never fantasies at all? What if the creatures hiding in ancient myths were not born from imagination, but from humanity's first encounters with a violent, unpredictable planet? Before science had names, before equations explained the sky and the ground beneath our feet, nature spoke in terror. And when humans didn't understand that terror, they gave it a face. They gave it teeth. They gave it a name. This is not a story about fiction. This is a story about fear, real fear, and how it shaped legends that still live inside us. Imagine the world thousands of years ago. No satellites, no forecasts, no warning systems. The earth shakes without mercy. The sea rises overnight and swallows entire villages. The sky darkens in the middle of the day. Fire pours from mountains. The sun disappears. To early humans, these were not events. They were attacks. And when something attacks you, you assume intent. That assumption is where monsters are born. When volcanoes erupted, ancient people didn't see geological pressure releasing itself. They saw mountains breathing fire. They heard roars echoing through the land and imagined colossal beasts trapped beneath the earth. From this fear came dragons, creatures that slept beneath mountains, creatures that breathed fire and smoke, creatures that punished humanity when disturbed. Across cultures that never met, dragons appear again and again, not because people copied each other, but because they feared the same thing, the earth erupting without warning. Now listen to the ground itself. Earthquakes don't arrive gently. They growl, they thunder, they tear the land apart. To coastal civilizations, these deep rumblings often came before massive waves destroyed everything in their path. From this terror came sea monsters, the kraken, giant serpents, beasts dragging ships into the abyss. The ocean wasn't empty, it was alive, and it was hungry. When the sea took lives, people needed something to blame. So they blamed a creature. Then came the sky, comets tearing across the heavens like burning spears, meteors crashing into the earth, the sudden, impossible darkness of a solar eclipse. Imagine believing the sun had been eaten. Across ancient cultures, eclipses were explained the same way. A cosmic beast was devouring the light. People screamed. They prayed. They banged drums to scare the creature away. Because if the monster didn't release the sun, everything would end. Even beauty became terrifying. The aurora borealis, glowing, shifting lights dancing across the sky, felt supernatural to early observers. They looked like spirits, or armies, or celestial wars unfolding above human heads. In some cultures, these lights were seen as the souls of the dead. In others, as omens of bloodshed and disaster. Beauty, when unexplained, becomes fear. But the most chilling monsters weren't born from the sky or the sea. They came from the wilderness. Deep forests where sound behaves strangely, where footsteps echo without a source, where people vanish. The howling wind through trees, cracking branches, shadows moving where nothing should move. From this isolation came creatures like the Wendigo, tall, hollow-eyed, human-like beings born from hunger, cold, and madness. These monsters weren't just threats. They were warnings. Warnings about starvation, about isolation, about losing your humanity when nature strips everything away. Even the ocean whispers. To this day, scientists record unexplained sounds from the deep sea. Slow pulses, metallic groans, distant screams that don't match any known species. Ancient sailors heard those sounds without technology, without context. To them, it was sirens singing, calling ships toward death. Not myth, misinterpretation. As centuries passed, science slowly explained the mechanisms behind these horrors. Volcanoes became pressure systems. Earthquakes became tectonic shifts. Eclipses became predictable alignments. But the monsters didn't disappear. They evolved. Today, we fear different creatures, conspiracies, unknown forces, hidden threats. But the emotional root is the same. Fear of losing control, fear of the unknown, fear that something vast and indifferent is watching us. Modern myths still rise from unexplained phenomena. Strange sounds from the ocean, mysterious sky booms, unidentified objects in the atmosphere. We no longer call them dragons or demons, but we still ask the same question our ancestors asked. What is that? And why is it happening to us? Because monsters were never just stories to scare children. They were humanity's first attempt to understand a world that did not care whether we survived. They were memories of disaster, given form. And maybe that's why they still haunt us. Because deep down, part of us knows. The planet hasn't changed. Only our explanations have. And if nature ever decides to remind us how small we are again, new monsters will be born.